Welcome to the HiRSE-Seminar series on research software engineering in Helmholtz and beyond.
Yes, thank you very much for inviting me for giving this talk in this series. So I'm talking about envisioning the next stage and defining the next steps. I'm the executive director for exactly 43 days now. So I'm the first one, and I will talk about that when we get the funding for it and everything. So how did the movement with RSE really start? And that was 2012 via the Software Sustainability Institute in the UK with the collaborations workshop Research Software Engineer, and then the UK RSE Association forms in 2013. And since 2019, the Society of Research Software Engineering was really there. So with that, it started in the UK, as probably you all know. And so in the US, so our US-RSE formed later. And what is a research software engineer? And so we had this longer definition that it includes researchers who spend significant amount of time programming, full-time software engineers writing code and solve research problems, and everyone who's somewhere in between. And that is the community we are working with. And I like also the definition that the UK has with a research software engineer combines professional software engineering expertise with an intimate understanding of research. So I think both are really good. And if we look at US-RSE, to define the next steps, we need also to understand where US-RSE comes from. So there was a US survey of RSE, and we had around 175 responses, and 12 responded really to have the interest to build a national community. That's, to really take over the leadership and try to, start it off. And then the UK sponsored the first international RSE leaders meeting in 2018. And we were there with 5 US delegates. So yeah, somewhere here in the picture, uh, I'm there somewhere, and Ian should be there. Yeah. So that is from the leadership meeting, and so we created the Slack workspace, and the first website went live, and we built a steering committee in 2018, and had in 2020 then the first steering committee elections and the first annual general meeting. And we defined from the beginning a mission with 4 topics we thought which are the most important ones. That is community, to create really a professional community to share knowledge, connections, and resources, and advocacy, because RSE are still really undervalued often in academia. It gets better, but we are not there yet to have really a well-defined, for example, career paths. Not in the US, I think in the UK it's much better already, but really to show that the impact of research software and of the people who create it really have a critical and valuable role in research. And we want in UK, in the US, RSE share resources, provide access really to information and material to support individuals, to support training, to really bring the community together. And the fourth topic, last but not least, really diversity, equity, and inclusion. We want to promote and encourage and improve diversity within the RSE community, because often we still see a democratic demography that is more male people, white male people as RSEs. So we are community-driven grassroots organization. So with the start, with the steering committee, it took over a lot of people are contributing. And our members are really like writing and contributing to research software, and university, national labs, knowledge institutes, companies. So we have a mixed membership there. Other people who are interested in research software engineers, like students and researchers, software engineers who are in industry but haven't done research yet. And we have RSE allies who manage and sponsor or support RSEs, like researchers who need RSEs or would like to work with RSE to get their research accelerated. So, and this is our growth. So you see in February 2018, we started, I think, with about, 20 people. And it was first a little bit, the first year slower grow, and then it took really up. And with this year, also the first conference, we have a couple of real jumps in the membership, which is exciting. So, and when we look where our members come from, so how they sign up, so we have a worldwide membership, but the ones really in the US are also spread over the country. You can see that we still have a couple of states like Montana, and so we have to advocate that we get, RSEs from every state also into our membership. So we will work on that. We have members in Hawaii, which is very cool, and also Alaska. So US-RSE resources include quite a few things. We have a website we have newsletters again. So newsletters was my task also, and the last one is now from March because it got just so busy with everything, and also preparing for having the executive director, and I applied myself for it. But we defined the process, and then I kept myself out of course, the application process. We have a Slack workspace. I think it's in most of the RSE communities, the Slack workspace is very active. In ours, it's very active. We have LinkedIn, Twitter, Mastodon. We have a job board that is also here, the screenshot, which is quite successful from the beginning. So we got a couple of people who came back to us, because of your job board, I found a job there. We have YouTube channels, and we have a couple of recurring and upcoming events like monthly community calls. People can suggest topics and work with the working group to have topic speakers invited. We have a DEI speaker series, so the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Working Group speaker series, and a media club. We started first with a book club, and then we realized we wanted also have videos and podcasts, and We have a funder speaker series and an education and training speaker series, always organized by working groups. And we go to conferences with panels, both workshops, do outreach. And if we look at this, it's working groups and other groups. So we are starting to form also affinity groups. We want to have regional chapters. So if you look at this, so there's a WATS working group. The WATS working group is really that go more into detail with this because we got funding at the beginning of the year. So we are really working to work with Sloan and the community to give awards to the community. We have a code of conduct and moderation working group, a code review, the DEI working group, education and training. The grants working group we will rename to funds working group, but this is only a naming because we are a non-profit and we shouldn't give out grants, but we can give out funding. It's a naming thing for non-profit. We have a group management group. It's a working group that defines processes, how to form a working group or the affinity group or regional group. We have a mentorship program, outreach, We have RSE empowerment and national labs. One new one is user experience. We have a website working group. Yes. So you see the affinity groups, for example. We have a group leaders network, a neuroscience group, and regional groups. So in Chicago, I'm in Chicago, and we try to set it up so that also locally face-to-face meetings are possible, or because as an addition to the virtual meetings, which is often nice. So we published in October 22 a guidebook for research software engineers and data scientists career path in academia, together with the ADSA organization, the Academic Data Science Alliance. And by now we have 8,000 views and 4,000 downloads. So if you are interested, it has about 100 pages. And so ADSA organized the workshop, and then we wrote together on this guidebook. And we published under the lead of Dan Katz, in partnership with IEEE Computer Society, a brochure about a research software engineer career path, more like a shorter introduction. Why research software engineering? How to build an RSE career? There are 4 examples in there. It might be interesting for information for everyone. So it has already 2,000 views and 1,000 downloads, and it was published last month. So, and in January 23, so that is where community initiatives come also in with that we can have positions and staff positions. So we switched to a new fiscal sponsor. So we had first the Open Collective Foundation, which helped us because, with taxes, we needed a fiscal sponsor. We didn't want to do directly already the full step with everything to go to a nonprofit with all the legal consequences. So it helped us first to have finances that are independent from universities, but are belonging then to US-RSE. So, and community initiatives is itself a nonprofit, and it helps other projects to go the first step. So it's like a sponsored project, and they support grant support, they have legal services, they support crowdfunding and donation management, it's certain types of insurance for volunteers, and it enables US-RSE to hire staff. That was the next step we wanted to go. And we are still navigating the nonprofit landscape, so there's a lot to learn. I imagine that it's also in other countries different from the university academic landscape or national labs or industry landscape. It definitely is in the US. We still are learning all the laws and rules and what we can do and what we cannot do. That is how, when I mentioned like, oh, we cannot name our program grants when we want to give money to people and members, we have to call it funds and things like that. We learn in the landscape. So we had this year our first conference. We called it, the theme was software-enabled discovery and beyond. And we were really excited. I was one of the general chairs. And we had 2 virtual workshops in the past. 2021, we had 136 registration. 2022, we had 151. Of course, because of COVID, it was all virtual. So now we had 250 registration, and we got sold out. So we got sold out 2 weeks before the conference starts. So that was really cool. And then some people had to cancel because of COVID. We still had a waiting list, so we had up to the end. We sold several times out and could put in, again, then people from the waiting list. So at the end, nobody was on the waiting list anymore. So that is very cool. So it was at the University of Illinois, Chicago. It was at the Discovery Partners Institute still at the time. We had technical program tracks. like DevOps and cyber infrastructure, research and development tooling. We had culture and community, a lot about community building and how to improve and encourage diversity and equity and inclusion in the community, software engineer practice and MLA and AI. And in total, we were really, really happy about that we had so many submissions. We had in total like 94 submissions and could accept like 74. So these are, the different program features and the different forms of submission. This is a picture we did in front of the university. So, and we had, that was, our mascot is now the unicorn. We decided with the program committee that we wanted to have a stuffed unicorn. And so in the welcome, I said, oh, we are, community of unicorns. And I think really the unicorn is really sweet and cute. So people really loved it. So I think it will be also in future conferences again, a mascot. So we had fantastic sponsors. So that is all the sponsors we had for the conference, and that made this conference also really possible because we wanted to keep it with a low registration fee. And then because of the sponsors, we could keep it with a low registration fee and could offer food and everything. And next year, we will have now an annual event, an annual conference, and it will have the topic yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And it will be in New Mexico in October 15th to 17th and 24 in the convention center in Albuquerque. So if you're interested, submission deadlines come out soon. And New Mexico. I personally was never there. I'm really looking forward to it. So it's a land of enchantment. It is really, yes, New Mexico has really the Roadrunner. The Roadrunner is real. It's not only, on TV. So a couple of these, this is a plant of New Mexico and the state flower. And the week before the conference, there will be the International Balloon Fiesta. So every day will be hundreds of balloons going up. So if you want to plan for a little bit more time before the conference, you can see the balloon fiesta. So coming back, yes, I love these puppies. So I thought there can be several times in my talk. And the US-RSE grant we got this year, that is really the basis that we could go the next step. And it's enabled 3 key and transformative areas: dedicated staff, activities, initiatives, and organizational tools and community health. So that were the big 3 topics we asked for. So we got almost $800,000. Dedicated staff, so since Monday, we have a full-time community manager to support and grow US-RSE community activities. So Sophia Anya Tonwu. So she started on Monday, and I'm sure that she will do a fantastic job, and you might hear more about from her in the future. And the part-time executive director, so the role is financial sustainability of the organization. And I'm very excited about my new role, but I will go also into that it's also a little bit scary to be the first executive director of US-RSE, but we get to that. So the activities and initiatives we can fund via the Sloan Foundation is, for example, the conference. Because sponsor money, we never know whether we get enough sponsors who will come back. Luckily, this year, the sponsors all were very positive that they liked it and would come back. But it helps to have some funding to catch something. Do we know whether there will be, maybe a pandemic again? Hopefully not. But yeah, all these things that it helps with planning the conference to have some safety cushion. Community funds to provide really funding to members, and awards to recognize all the work the volunteers do, because all what I have shown here is like that is done by volunteer work. We had no funding until now. All the working groups, the organization of events, the organization of the monthly community call, all this is organized via the community. And so, for example, the program growth is really to have with the community initiatives and travel grants to grow the US-RSE community, to connect them, and help also individuals to grow their own career and increase the visibility and viability. And especially also we want to create opportunities for underserved community members, like where the affiliations don't have money to send them to a conference, where they can, organize maybe a local event to have exchange with the people in the area, things like this. So for the community, it's really, it benefits a group or individuals, a group of individuals, and the individual one benefits an individual applicant, like a travel grant to a conference that is important for their career path. So we can give $100 to $10,000 per proposal, and we expect mostly to be around 2,500 to do something. So it's a 3-monthly deadline, so it's rotating, and it's not just dedicated to people in the US. So if you are interested, you can apply. The next deadline is December 31st. The deadline afterwards will be March 31st. So if maybe this gets a little bit too tight, especially with the holidays, but yeah, every 3 months we will have a deadline. So with the third area we have with the funding is really organizational tools and community health. So for example, we had just the election. So with the election of steering committee members, so we have a tool for that. Election body, we need to pay for it. We have, for example, diversity, equity, and inclusion consulting. So I did a course which was really helpful about code of conduct response training. We like to have our swag, and tools and software to make US-RSE more effective, like a membership tool. At the moment we capture it all with spreadsheets and everything, so we really would like to make it a little bit more professional, also with setting up meetings and everything. So yeah, so I've shown what is going on at the moment. So the next stage and next steps. So I know that there are things I don't know about nonprofit. So I was in industry for 12 years. I had 2 startup companies. I'm in academia for over 15 years, but I was never employed or even, did lead a nonprofit. And so I know, but I don't know. No, I know that I don't know things. If I would know what I don't know, that would be nice. And I don't know how some of sustainability measures can work out. For example, with the membership fees is one of the ideas. But, as a community, would the community really like it or not? So I go here with Albert Einstein. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. It is, but yeah, working on it. So the idea is really to say, at the moment I'm working on the business plan, and together with Sophia, we will work on outreach and marketing plan. And after the first year, we want to have an additional funding source some pieces and grow to 2,500 members. We are about 2,100 members now. So after 2 years, I would like to have the salaries of the community manager and mine saved for the next 3 years, and that US-RSE has 3,500 members. And 5 years, I would think that we can make the jump really to be our own nonprofit organization with 4 staff members, with all what we need to really be a nonprofit ourselves instead of being dependent on the community initiatives. I hope we would be then also at 7,000 members. And after 10 years, like 3 funding streams established and permanent staff. And I think with 10,000 members, we scratch probably the RSEs in the US. So with, yeah, looking at universities and everything, it's an educated guess that we can get to 10,000 members. I think with LAs, we could even go higher. But 10,000 after 10 years, that would be fantastic for us. So that is, I think, a little bit ambitious, but not impossible. So I think it's better to be a little bit ambitious than to go too low. So that is the overall really idea and vision for the next 10 years. So, and then I started, okay, from idea into reality, but how to do this now? And we started the association already on volunteer work. So I looked at different publications about it. I liked this blog about, yeah, how to do really the 8 steps, like defining your goals, having a business plan, all this. And I looked at what we are doing, and so US-RSE, we had already set the goals. We have a steering committee. With CI, we have a kind of the organization for tax exempt status. We created a website. And we have members. We started recruiting members. So what is really in progress now with the Sloan grant is recruiting the staff and choose your software. And it's the first, so we had 2 positions. These are filled since Monday. So this is great. And the business plan, looking at this, how to build the business plan for the next different stages from 1 to 2 to 5 years and 10 years. It's really the basis of the business plan are the members. And only, a vibrant community opens up possibilities for financial sustainability. And so we had some feedback in US-RSE why people joined, and they felt addressed and included. They like the feeling of belonging to a community. It's a space for discussions, a space for learning, and also that we support a non-traditional career path and want to improve the situations of RSEs in academia and national labs. So, and I found this study of nearly 900 associations. So, and they do this regularly. They do surveys on associations regularly for over 15 years now. And they look at topics like, what are the primary challenges to association growth? Because that is one of the big topics for US-RSE, and I think any RSE association worldwide. So how to grow? How would membership be affected if there's a membership fee? Why do members join and renew? What is use of social media? So how do we compare to other associations? It's a really interesting report. And especially also so members join and associations grow more when they're especially extremely innovative. So that is a great finding. So that is good to know that we need to be innovative. And main 2 reasons for being a member for all over the association is access to unique community of like-minded individuals and access to specialized information and resources in our niche. And that makes me excited again. Showing the puppies again. That is exactly what we have in US-RSE. We have a unique community of like-minded individuals, and I think not only in US-RSE, but with all the RSE associations. And we have specialized information and resources in the niche. So that fits exactly to us. So financial sustainability, what is also important is really diversification of funding sources. So writing proposals. In the US, it's typical National Science Foundation or National Institute of Health or something like the Sloan grant, like really also different funding sources from foundations. There's a John Zuckerberg. There are different, the Melinda Gates Foundation. So all these things, we can look at those, but also nonprofit have the advantage to can get grants from medium and large organizations on the private sector. There are different websites to connect you where they show what they would fund, for example. Or grants can be in form of cash or in-kind donations. And what I think, especially in the RSE community, this volunteer work is so valuable and it will stay. So that is, it's really important. Maybe membership fees help partially with financial sustainability, and with the success of the our little unicorn for the conference. And here's how they arrived in boxes. That was so cute. Maybe it is worth to think about a US-RSE brand store. Maybe that is something to do. So of course, we cannot do everything at the same time. So we have to start with something. So so I have set priority together with the steering committee, and there's a National Science Foundation Research Coordination Network proposal planned for February. These are about connecting communities, having measures to organize events, having outreach to related groups. So that is in plan. We want to have an industrial advisory board with the first meeting in March. So a focus group is planned for April with leaders of RSE teams about organizational membership fees. And one focus group is planned for June on personal membership fees. And when I mentioned focus groups, so it might be that someone here in the audience gets also invitations to discuss these, because the focus group is planned virtually, and really to get not only a national view on it, but also an international view. And the other thing I work on is to have every 3 months a meeting with group of leaders of non-traditional organizations, like the RSE associations in the different countries, like ADSA, CAC, CAS. These are all which are non-traditional. So leading, for example, that they're research facilitators, that they're data scientists. These are all, we are facing all the similar problems, and we can learn from each other. So how to get some hurdles out of the way, and also carpentry. So that is one of the ideas, to exchange ideas, that we all can learn how to navigate this landscape. So the recent activities I've done is, so the November community call, I talked about the vision I have. We were at Supercomputing 23 in Denver. We had a US-RSE booth. You see me sitting there. I was co-chair of the RSE HPC workshop. We had an RSE evening event with around 30 people. I was very excited about my first business cards. This is the front and back of my business card. So that is exciting. And I decided that I need a mentor and an advisory board for the position, independent of the steering committee. It's really a personal advisory board. And Elena Harkness is my mentor here in Chicago, and she has more than 10 years of experience with nonprofit and does a wonderful job there. Comes from a different direction with having studied political sciences and was in the arts. And I think this is a really good to have someone who comes from a different direction and brings different ideas and perspectives with it. And the advisory board, you will see some names here you probably know very well: Simon Hedrick, Neil Chauhan, Kirk Key, Marianne Long, Lance Pass, and John Towns, and Mike Sandner. So I will meet with them every 3 months. And they're all open-minded, and also they will tell me if I do things I shouldn't do. And the marketing plan is really to get out the newsletter again. So yeah, for 9 months we didn't have a newsletter. We planned for outreach campaigns to minority serving institutions, community colleges, domain researchers, because these are the people we want to support with research software engineer. And also we need the leadership at universities and national labs on board. And we want to reach out to RSEs who don't know yet that they're RSEs or think they are not. And these are, if they heard about us already and still think that they're not fitting in the community, we have to find out why. If they do research stuff for engineering and think it's not, it's not what is fitting for them. And it's an international movement. This is the photo that was done at the German conference, and it's still one of the most impressive one I've seen with RSEs in the picture. So that is very cool. And we are part of an international movement. So it started, yes, in the UK in 2013, but look at this now. So US-RSE, but there's really Nordic RSE, RSE Africa. We have Australia and New Zealand. We have Asia now. There's Belgium. It's the German one. It's really impressive. And I'm missing out probably on the Netherlands. I'm so sorry for that. I will add that. And yes, so these changes bring also some risks. So US-RSE becomes a different animal with staff positions and funding. So because the last 5 years it did grow really on volunteer work, but I think we did hit a border there, what else to achieve, because it takes a lot from volunteers. And so the idea is to have a steady communication between the executive director and the steering committee. I I'm part of the community. I'm contributing to working groups like DEI. I really like that we recognize the volunteers and the regular meetings with other organizations and regular surveys of the community. What are the pain points? Where can we support? What can we do to go to the next stage? And with the overarching goals is really to change academic culture, to give RSEs a place in academia and national labs, to keep it a welcoming and sustainable environment, and also to keep the grassroots character that made US-RSE growing so fast. And with that, many thanks.
Thank you for watching our seminar. Please check out the slides on Zenodo linked below and see you next time.